you so much for joining us for this episode of Leading Change. My name is Emma, and I've got Adam with me, and he has graciously accepted to sit down for a second time because I somehow messed up our recording the last time around. So thank you for joining me again, Adam. And today we're going to be talking about readiness for all different types of emerging technologies. But before I get to all the questions that I've got for you, can you give everybody an introduction?
Sure. Thank you very much, Emma, for having me. And thanks, everyone, for watching this. So my name is Adam Gaca, and I'm from Poland. Overall, 16 years of experience in IT. I've been through technical roles, managerial roles, doing consulting, and pretty much one of the top challenges that I have of myself is helping companies to transform, be it process, people, or technology, including cloud.
So I want to get started with maybe like a little bit of a unpopular opinion, but really picking your brain on why you feel like most companies are probably not ready to jump into the AI craze with both speed.
Okay. So, well, I can say that after 16 years, I'm pretty much a pessimist when it comes to adoption of new technologies. So I've been through, let's say, blockchain, been through metaverse as well. There's always the next great big thing. And don't get me wrong, I think that those type of technologies and movements can definitely make an impact and make a change. But let's differentiate the hype versus practical usability of this technology, so how to make it fit for use and fit for purpose. So AI definitely has the advantage to reduce the manual work that the people in organizations are doing, but first there are some challenges that needs to be taken care of. So most of the organizations that would like or could contribute or greatly get value from adopting AI, they have an issues with fundamentals. I would say that the foundations are unstable. And by foundation, I mean cultural resistance inside the organization towards any new technological adoption. There is technical debt still uncleared. So getting another new technological aspect inside of all of those things would be another disruption that is not helpful, but is more like a disruption, like an obstacle for people to overcome. There is unclear processes in very, I would say, on most fronts of the organization, because the process is keep in our heads. There is no knowledge management whatsoever, and transferring the knowledge is pretty much dead. Besides that, there is definitely short-term focus on how we can get those results right away, instead how we can make sure that in the long term, this adoption, this movement will bring us benefit. And I would say that the last piece in those lacking foundation is lack of view. So holistic approach to the whole organization, what actually AI or anything else could bring us. There are definitely data challenges. So organizations which want to use AI, in most scenarios, they will have to use data. And to have a high quality solution in place, you first need to have a high quality data that needs to be processed, need to be put in order to have the results. So having a data strategy, having everything clear out, defined, clear business objectives, clear people that have ownerships or empowerment to take care of those aspects is clearly very important for the success of adoption of basically anything inside of the organization. And the last thing with AI, I would say, is the regulatory, ethic, and cultural issues. It's very similar to what we are facing when it comes to autonomous vehicles, for example. So on the one side, we have this readiness and openness to try those things out, but still the scale compared to what we want to use them for, we are still very early, and we do not have yet the data. We do not have yet the knowledge who should take responsibility. And yes, sure, we can start small, and that is a good thing. But pretty much the decision makers take a look on AI in an aspect that it could be breakthrough to the organization. So mass adoption right away. I don't think that is a good approach to AI. It has dangers. It has possible positive outcomes, so value for the organization, but with everything, I think being modest in the approach and having a stable plan would be the key.
So while you were talking, my ears, I obviously came in a little early because I was excited, but you started talking about a couple of these areas where maybe we should be focusing our priority. Can you dive into the top few areas that you think most companies should be kind of honing in on to get ready to bring tools like AI into their organization?
Sure. So from my point of view, when it comes to any organization right now who is not 100% digital, because that's the future that we are facing, I think that this golden triangle of people, process, and technology is important. How to make sure that those three are aligned and working at their optimal way, our optimal level based on a plan that we have. So there are definitely obstacles on each phase, let's say, of each aspect of this golden triangle. So first will be technological depth. So in case we are not in control of our data, it's not organized, or we have largely our infrastructure is on-prem, it definitely will be an obstacle if we want to move towards new solutions which are AI-based and require a data sets that are very well organized and clear to the services that are going to use them. So another one is people empowerment. What we are seeing that there's in each organizations, there are fire starters, what I call them. So people who have potential to make a change, to make an adoption, to improve something, but they are not being heard. They don't have the power necessary to make this change possible. And so this is definitely something that needs to change. So let's empower the people. Let's align with them the northern star on our compass, and then let's see the results. Because one empowered team can do only this much, but if you empower half of the organization, this is going to bring tremendous results, and the readiness and the adoption of AI in all of this will also grow. I think what's also required is defined value streams. So each company in the end produce value for customers or internal value. And in order to have this understanding, we need to define those value streams. And in accordance to lean practice, we'll know where the waste is product. We don't really have to implement AI in a way that it cares of the whole process and generates the value in the end. If you can adopt AI in a part of this process to reduce the manual work, to introduce automation, to make the data or anything pretty much usable for the end user, this is already a great success. But we are not looking on all those small improvements, which has a compound effect that after a few years will be as an organization in different spot. I just simply take a look on all of this as a marathon, not a sprint. Another one would be defined data strategy, which I already mentioned. I think data is the key, and everyone is pretty much in a place that they understand that there is no such thing as free service in the world. Even the top organizations which provide daily services that we are using, they are being paid by our data. So if we are able to take care of the data that we have internally and lean that towards value creation, this is definitely a good thing. And also taking into account that we need to be compliant, we need to stay secure, and we need to deliver the promise to our customers that our solution, our product is secure. This is definitely crucial. And I would say that the last two things would be measurements and return on the investment. So there's always the next great thing, sure. And there are a lot of initiatives, a lot of ideas, but it is a success also to know when to stop them and when you can stop. We need to measure in order to make good decisions based on data. And this is pretty much the same when it comes to return on the investments. So if you are willing to make an investment, adopting any technology, process change, people change, new departments, R&D, whatever, we need to measure in order to know if we are getting near to the goal that we achieved. Are we getting near to the solutions that are needed for us? Is AI the next big thing that will revolutionize our business? Or AI is just a simple technological solution that will bring us closer to the goal? So this is much, from my point of view, this is what is truly important, taking care of the people, on the alignment between them and the interfaces. And everything else is necessary, but not as critical as people, process, and technology.
Well, everybody who follows me knows that that's something I subscribe heavily to as well. But to round our time out, I guess I want to, so we've been talking about these emerging technologies and the focus on the future and how to prepare for the future. But one of the things that we wanted to touch on before our time was over was maybe why we shouldn't always be incredibly future focused, and that there's still a time and a place to focus on what's happening in the here and now. Can you talk a little bit about how to make sure that we're not so focused on the future that we're losing sight of today?
Yes, definitely. So we were talking about strategy and our marathon and long term, but we can't lose track of what's happening every day, because what we are doing right now will build the future for us. So I think building up the momentum is critical for us to achieve the long-term resolution that we want. This is connected. It can't be disconnected, otherwise we'll simply fail. So how to achieve that? There's simple solutions to any complex problems out there. Let's say that a lot of organizations want to move forward. They want to implement changes, digital transformation, AI implementation, data strategy, whatever is necessary to move the business forward. But what's pulling them from behind and blocking them from moving efficiently forward is this business as usual, this everyday stuff. So to make sure that we have those two things progressing, not blocking each other but assisting, we need to make sure that those streams are connected but also detached, so they can move at two different speeds, not intertwining between each other. So separating the workloads into streams is definitely helpful for any company out there to make any progress forward. Measure, make data-driven decisions. So in order to manage anything, you need to know what's happening, and you need to have metrics in place which define success with, say, if you are in a risky position, and which says that you need to take action and how you can improve, or if your improvement actually worked and you are in different place now. I'm not sure if any organization is doing that in every possible space, but it's definitely helpful to make the organizations improve on daily basis. And this compounding effect throughout the years will make ourselves, the organization, in a different place. Even if we do not adopt AI, or if we adopt AI, you can't basically rule out any of those options. Definitely train, empower, equip the people with knowledge, with skills, and allow them to fail. If you create this culture for people to develop themselves and to try things out, this will result in multiple failed scenarios, but there will be those few successful ones which can skyrocket your organization when it comes to the effect that you want to achieve, when it comes to the realization of the strategy. Or you will come into a position where you actually will conclude that the strategy is actually not something that you should pursue. So people are part of each organization, and they are the cogs that are allowing the organization to move forward. Make sure they're working perfectly, allow them for some movement, give them the space. This will definitely bring fruit. Definitely calibrate the compass. So we need to know what's the strategy. If my actions, if are my plans connected to the strategy, do I contribute towards the vision that we agreed together? This is very much crucial, especially in the empowerment. You can't just simply empowerment someone and just leave them alone. You need to make sure that they have everything that they need in order to resolve their issues, which will they face daily, especially in the beginning, and that the actions the actions are connected to the strategy and allowing them to move forward, and makes sure that the decisions they are making, which they are empowered to do so, are still aligned to the strategy and setting the organization on one common course towards the future that we want to achieve. And the last would be visual management, I think. So I'm a fan of visual management. It allows us to just take a look quickly if we are moving in the good direction. And this also allows us to think through continuous service improvement. So those small compounding effects that are helping us to achieve something big in a larger scale. If I manage to do a push-up each day, then in a year, I will have 365 push-ups. If I don't do those, I will probably end with few that I remember to do. And I'll be terribly tired because I just do a few rounds in a week or so when I remember to do so. And I would say, let's stay as a child. Apply this child mindset. Continuously ask why we are doing that, how we could improve, how does it work, why not do a change. So ask simple questions. And like in everything in life, if you want to understand something clearly, you need to ask and have a true understanding, and you are able to describe that into your own words and not just recite anything like a math formula or anything else, then truly you reach this point where you truly understand the nature of the problem. So summarizing everything, empower the people, make sure they are aligned, give them freedom, give them necessary resources for them to develop, make sure it's all visualized, make sure that everything is measured, and then just wait for results. Help people, don't block people.
I love that the idea of empowerment was both key to how do we prepare for the future, but also how do we make sure that we're addressing all of our concerns in the now. But thank you so much for joining me for the conversation, Adam, and for everybody who is watching. And be sure, if you're not already, to give him a follow, and certainly let either one of us know if you've got any questions. But otherwise, thank you again for joining me, and have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Leading Change. If you liked what you saw, be sure to subscribe and come back weekly for more expert interviews on digital transformation, change management, and emerging technologies.